I'm Randy Frisch of Mygazines. We're a cloud solution that's changing the face of print and publishing. With the power of the web, many people have predicted the end of print. Magazines, flyers, brochures, textbooks, all gone, extinct. At Mygazines, we believe publishers and marketers need to evolve the way they distribute their content to mesh with the way people use the internet. A multi-page document is the most natural reading experience. We work with companies to help them transition to an online version of that experience so they can engage with their audience on any device. Our cloud solution allows you to enhance what was once a plain old PDF with links, widgets, and videos. Protect and secure your content, distribute your content on any device, from desktops, tablets, smartphones, even the iPad, and track and analyze interaction within that content. Just imagine knowing what pages people read, how much time they spent doing so. In August alone, we served up over 30 million page views across 1,000 active accounts. We're working not just with media publishers where we have key partnerships with people like CDS Global Canada, a division of Hearst, but also working with ad agencies, retailers, educators, and corporations like Research in Motion and DuPont. Our attractive recurring revenue model works for small and large companies, and we're looking for a strategic partner to help us fund growth into the emerging markets.
That's the pitch for Mygazines. Jeremy, can I start with you?
Sure. Well, Trend Hunter is actually called Trend Hunter Magazine, so I was pretty interested to see what your product's about, try it, play around with it. And I do like how it interacts and feels. My question, though, is how do you protect yourself against Adobe launching a similar sort of service, or even Google Docs taking their PDF tool to the next level?
That's a great question. One of the things that we often have to do is explain not just what we are, but what we aren't. Google Docs is a great product, same as Dropbox. I use those types of products at our office, but those are more designed for when I want to share content from one individual to another. Our solution is geared to share content across a wide audience. So that's where our focus is. In terms of Adobe...
Sorry, just to rephrase,
yeah.
I don't mean Google Documents today. I'm talking about whether or not Google Docs or Adobe is starting to invent something tomorrow. So it's about what barrier to entry are you trying to create, or how are you locking in the market you have now?
It just sounds like from the perspective of Google, they can recreate this. They're a technology company, and they could recreate this in a very short amount of time, it sounds like.
That's a good question. Part of the way that we're making sure that we have sustainability is, without getting too technical, we have an API. That API lets some of our larger clients really integrate our solution into their existing infrastructure.
And just to help out viewers, Randy, because I had to ask you this earlier, API is where two companies can mesh their computer systems, basically.
Exactly. It's a way of two different companies talking to each other from a technical standpoint. So we don't want companies to have to completely adopt our technology from the ground up, but rather make it work with the technology or processes that they already have in place. When you deal with someone like Google, they're often trying to build their own brand. That's another key difference. We're very focused on making sure that our brand is more in the background and our clients' brands are what are at the forefront.
Okay, cool.
Brad, talk to me about what you're looking to raise and valuation parameters and revenue to date.
Absolutely. We're looking to raise $2 million. Our focus in doing so is really to push a lot of our sales and marketing efforts. Our technology exists today and it's live. Our revenues have been very strong. We're doing about 4 times as much this month as we did a year ago. We're far in excess of $1 million run rate. So we have a large base of customers and something that we can actually say that this is what our company is valued at, as opposed to picking a number in the sky. And we're happy to talk to investors to let you know where we think that value is today and what we can do.
Investor you're looking for?
Yeah, we're looking to give equity in exchange for funds to help us grow the business.
You gave me an example. Sorry, I have a training manual. I can send it out to all my employees. They can look at it on their iPads or cell phones. But you can check who's reading the manual and what section people are really focusing on and stuff like that.
Absolutely. We have our own proprietary stats that will give an understanding of audience engagement, and we also integrate into some of the tools, as I said earlier, to make your existing processes work. So we integrate with Google Analytics, we integrate with Omniture, so that you don't have to start from the ground up, but we give a lot of ideas that you wouldn't be able to track normally unless you did a focus group, which isn't all that real in the end.
And how are you delivering your content? I mean, are you basically relying on the databases of your clients, of your customers to deliver that content, or is that a service that you provide? So if I wanted to target a certain demographic, can I come to you and say, create this, or do the production work, which is essentially what you're doing, is you're transferring into a PDF format, and I saw your links into the social networking, it looks really sharp. How are you getting it to my target audience?
Yeah, we give you a lot of the tools to be able to do that yourself. We have a very wide variety of customers that range from corporations, law firms, retailers. So it's very tough for us to always know what the best medium is to reach that audience.
So you rely on us to do that?
We rely on you to do it. We do have some tools in place for more of the media publishing groups, such as our digital newsstand, which would give some exposure, but we often give the tools to you.
And how does the reoccurring revenue work? Because you mentioned reoccurring revenue, because the way I can see it is you've got a product, you create this, you do the production work, but then how do you continue to charge for it? Is it for your analytics to be able to see open rates and click-through rates?
Well, our solution is a self-serve solution, first of all. We have some full-service clients, but quite often the client is actually uploading that content on their own. Sorry?
They would scan the pages in?
No, they would actually upload a PDF through our web-based solution.
Got to cut you off there, Randy.
Yeah, no problem.
Fascinating stuff, but you'll be coming back later in the show for the big decision. That's going to be right after the break. Our two entrepreneurs will stand before the panel, ready to hear which business idea won them over. Would you put money into Mygazines?
Well, I know Randy, and he's a good guy, and that's very fundamentally important to us when we're partnering with management. I'm a little concerned when someone's raising more money than their revenue, and that's instantly going to pick off a valuation issue for us. I do believe there's some proprietary value in it from what you've said. I haven't dug into it much, but I like the idea, and again, I like the management.
Gary?
I like the idea from a scalability perspective, and I like the fact that it's an automated interface that people can go into and they can upload their content, so that's great. I think the investor that you're looking for is a far more strategic investor. The role that potentially an investor that like myself would take is I would bring someone else in and I would co-invest, but I would co-invest with one of the VC companies, let's say, that invested in us, where they've got just a huge network and a huge knowledge base, and that's what I would do. I'd be looking for smart money, so I would potentially co-invest with a larger player.
We're almost out of time. Jeremy?
I would take the same advice that he's given to you and basically say that I don't think your play is technology. I think that could be threatened by an Adobe or a Google or even replaced by someone else. You're about sales, getting in and being able to customize to all the publishers, so I think that you should be looking for a very strategic investor.
Was that helpful at all, Randy?
Absolutely. They all make very good points, and one of the key things for us that we think is that time is of the essence, and that's partly because of the opportunity. So many businesses are looking for how to better communicate with their audiences, and we have that tool to do it. That's part of why we want to aggressively raise funds, to Brad's point, and really be able to target both the small businesses plus large businesses with two separate sales strategies that we have on the go.
Guys, we'll be following you closely. Thanks so much for coming on the show.